The other morning, I had to get up early and move my car for street sweeping. And I'm just walking along super early, just minding my own business. And I hear a little toot toot. It was a friendly honk, not the kind that was aggressive of get out of the way. But what I heard was toot toot. Hey, good looking. So I thought someone was checking me out, thinking I looked really cute so early in the morning. And I turned around and this kid rolls his window down and he said, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were my mom." And I kind of have this feeling, a little bit of age envy, maybe, because we're in the height of spring break right now. Everybody's walking around, all these college age kids. And the ones that I see seem to be typically maybe too young to get into bars, but old enough they're out of high school and appear to be early college age kids. And maybe I'm a little bit jealous that they can walk around. It's been really chilly here, so they can walk around in the high 50-degree weather, low 60s in these little teeny tiny bikinis and go grocery shopping and just do their thing. And then there's the other part of me. It's kind of like instead of the devil and the angel on my shoulders, I've got the young self on one shoulder and the old lady my age self on the other. And the young ones looking at these kids going, "Oh, yeah, I remember those days." And then the old ones going, "Oh, God, I would never relive those days in 1,000,010 years, but I would like to have that 18 to 20-year-old body walk around in." But the interesting thing is, all these things keep popping up on my news feed. I don't know if I've said the words spring break a few too many times and my phone's picking up on it, but I keep reading about this thing called Borg, which is like a TikTok trend. I don't even watch TikTok. I tried to have a TikTok account, but it was a little too advanced for me, which that's the old person on this shoulder that's talking in my ear going, "Ooh, that's too much technology right there." But it's where kids walk around, and I've been seeing this too with this ginormous gallon of alcoholic beverage, and it's Borg. I think it stands for Blackout Rage Gallon. And it's mortifying to me that kids are documenting their drinking because, of course, yes, I partied when I was a kid and I drank. I thought, for the most part, the group of kids I hung out with, were pretty good. But we drank a lot in college. And I didn't drink as much as most. That's the scary thing. And I drank a lot. I remember the first time I ever got drunk. That was Boone's Farm mixed with red wine mixed with vodka. That was sort of my blackout rage gallon. Only I don't know what we were drinking out of, big gulp cups. And that was the first time I ever got drunk, and I happened to crap my pants. It was not a good experience. I did not enjoy it. And all I kept thinking was, can you imagine if that was on a TikTok video? I mean, that would certainly have gone viral in this day and age. But I am fascinated by these kids. They're walking around in just hordes and groups of people. And I've gotten a little bit judgmental. The old self is judging the heck out of these kids. I'm calling them names. I'm in my car. I'm with my own children and I'm calling them names. When I see these groups of kids and they've got these alcoholic beverages and they're trying to smoke to look cool, the judgy old me is commenting, wanting my kids to hear how ridiculous I think these kids look and how much trouble they're going to get themselves in, and how if I were their parent and I was witnessing this, I'd be livid. But then that young self of mine is just reminding myself and going down memory lane of when I was that age. And it might have been the same day I got mistaken for the kid's mother, but I was at a stop sign with both of my kids in the car, and this huge group of kids walks by, and each one of them has some ridiculous size alcoholic beverage in one hand, and then the girls have practically nothing on, and they're passing around a cigarette. They're trying to smoke a cigarette, and I just lose it. The old self, the my age self on my shoulder, just is judging the heck out of these kids, and I start freaking out. And then the young self is remembering when I might have looked like that. I certainly had more clothes on than they did because I was too modest and embarrassed to ever wear something so small. But they're just kids. But I start going off. My kids are listening and I'm saying, that is not cool. You know what? Who smokes like that? Who even decides to smoke in this day and age? This is crazy. And they're drinking and they're so young. And I just start going off in the car for my kids to hear. And I am losing it, talking about how ridiculous they look trying to smoke a cigarette and how they're going to get blackout drunk. And I have been seeing this Borg information and this is not going to end well for them. And their parents would be so disappointed if they could see them right now. And from the back seat, Sandler said, Mommy, calm down. They're just trying to have fun. Just let them have fun. What's the problem? And I was so put in my place. And he was absolutely right because the young me on the other shoulder thought, yeah, just let them have fun. You did way dumber stuff than that. I'm Nikki Lynn Chase, and this is my podcast, Adult Chicken, and it's about navigating life's unexpected. These are my stories. This is my journey about being a single mom to two special needs kids. I found it interesting that it took Sandler to put me in my place in the car that day and let me know what's your problem? What are you worrying about? Stop judging all of these young kids on vacation. They're just literally trying to have fun. But the older self also has the ears that are hearing the constant because spring break is so rampant right now. I'm hearing all the sirens, and every time I hear a siren going off right now, I'm thinking it's that Borg. It's that blackout rage gallon drink that is all the rage on this TikTok. And I'm seeing these kids just gather and party. And the younger self thinks, I don't know how we survived those times. When I first went to school, I ended up in San Diego, and my brother and his friends were spending their first year off campus. So they'd been in school for 1 year, and then they'd gotten an apartment. And I didn't have anywhere to live when I got to San Diego, so I moved in with my brother and all of his friends. And it was the grossest house full of boys, college-age boys that were spending their second year away from home. And I shared a room with my brother. We had to get a set of bunk beds. So here I was in my late teens. My brother's probably in his early 20s, and we are sharing a room, and we've got a set of bunk beds. And I had fun, but it was gross. That was my first experience with roommates. And as I'm judging these kids and what they're drinking and what they're doing on vacation on spring break right now, I thought back to that time and thought, how in the hell did I live through that? That was a time when we'd party because we were in San Diego. We had fake IDs. We weren't old enough to go to bars, so we all had fake ID. I had a fake ID. I think you had to be 18, so I must have been 17, obviously, because I had a fake ID that got me into Mexico. We'd go down to Tijuana, get blackout drunk. We weren't carrying around gallons. At least they're amongst friends who can call emergency services. We were getting blackout drunk in Tijuana, Mexico. And I did that. I did that with a friend. We had taken the train down. We'd gone, where they blow the whistles, they shoot you back in a chair, you take a bunch of shots of tequila. We're 17, 18 years old. And we spend all of our money on all the trinkets that they're selling, all the jewelry that they're selling on the streets, and we have no money to get home. And then we hitch a ride with a bunch of surfer guys in a VW bus. And I'm thinking, and you have the audacity to judge these kids who are at least traveling on the streets in groups, and they're walking, and they're not in Mexico, completely unaware of what the hell country they're in or what they're doing. And then I thought, okay, let's give them props for that. And thank God you lived through that. I'm not sure how you did and how fortunate you were that this group of boys that took you home in the VW bus were cool enough to drop you off where you needed to go. And then I thought about the progressive parties we used to have at that time. That was all the rage. We didn't have social media. We didn't have any of those things. So the parties were word of mouth. And man, they would grow. I mean, we were really resourceful and things would just grow. These parties were huge. And I remember our little apartment, the apartment full of the dirty boys and my brother's friends, the dirty house full of boys. We were always in charge of the jungle juice. which was just every kind of alcohol mixed with whatever fruit juice or whatever you could find. Probably Kool-Aid at that point. Who knows what was mixed in there? Something disgusting, just to sweeten it up a lot of bit. We would make the jungle juice in a bathtub with literally the world's dirtiest group of boys living together. I guarantee that bathtub had never been washed in its entire year that we lived there. I was only there for a semester. But you'd go during the progressive party, you just had cups. You'd give them to the people that entered the door. They'd go in and you'd scoop up the alcohol. Once again, I've got the audacity to judge these people who are at least drinking out of the same gallon container, their own. They're not drinking out of a dirty bathtub with shared cups, which might be why our immune system might be a little bit stronger than kids these days. You're killing the bacteria with the amount of alcohol that was in the bathtub. But again, I started just remembering how lucky I am to have made it to the following semester. I was not only lucky to have survived the many trips to Mexico where we'd just go to have a night out. Again, you're going to another country. You're going with fake IDs. It was so brilliant. And then you're coming home, kind of wake up, probably not even realizing how lucky you are to be alive and all in one piece. And the other thing that's funny is, of course, there's never any online. We didn't have phones. There was no online anything. So there was a lot of gambling going on. This group of boys, they all loved to gamble. And one roommate in particular had a little bit of a gambling situation, little issue. And that's where I came to find out what a bookie was, because he would have me answer the calls on a landline, of course, from a bookie. And he'd say, you have got to pretend you're my wife and I'm not allowed to gamble. So he'd gotten himself in a little bit of a predicament, and it was kind of edgy. It was a little bit dangerous. And so in that regard, we were kind of advanced, but of course we were using our imagination a lot more so than a phone. I think nowadays people probably gamble on phones. Maybe they have bookies. I don't even know. But I had to get a laugh once again at how much I'm judging the kids that I'm seeing currently this month. It'll probably carry on through April, but I'm just dying thinking about the fact that I survived that semester alone, then on to the next, which was in Durango, Colorado. Much calmer semester. Much calmer. That was like going from party school to then the all natural school. In Durango, I did the dorm experience. That was when I had a roommate that was sort of a lottery. I got in there late. I didn't know I was going. I ended up going pretty late in the time frame of getting into school, and they just picked somebody for me. So I ended up with a lovely gal who was local. She lived in or around the town of Durango, and it was a weird experience. Fort Lewis was a very natural school. I think I was one of very few that actually shaved my body parts. There's a lot of smelling of patchouli oil, and just, it was very natural. And I did not enjoy the dorm experience at all. I don't do well with very close. Now with my roommates that I currently have, aka my children, I'm used to always being together. But being on top of each other in cinder block scenario with a shared bathroom, and I mean shared bathroom like the entire hallway shared the bathroom, that was not an experience I enjoyed at all. And there was one point, I don't know, there was a spring, probably the most exciting thing that ever happened was I helped myself to, this friend of mine did a lot of intricate beadwork, and we would do some like crafts together, and she taught me how to make bead necklaces or flowers, whatever. But it was spring break there in Durango, and everybody had left, and I was in a play, and I had to stick around for an extra evening or something, and they locked the doors, and you couldn't if I had gotten locked out of the dorm, I couldn't get back in. Whatever the case was, I just remember being stuck in our little dorm room, and I was going nuts. And so I just helped myself to her beads. I thought, well, if nothing else, I'll just do some bead work. And I'll be damned. I mean, it was this whole entire just bin full of beads, millions, gazillions of seed beads. And I just helped myself and did some beadwork until I could leave and didn't need to get back into the dorm. And when she came back, I got in trouble because she noticed that I taken her beads. I literally only took a few, but she noticed, which that to me was the worst thing that probably happened in Durango. And I felt guilty. And I gave her my crock pot. My grandma had gifted me a crock pot, which I didn't know what to do with then. Don't even know what to do with it now. But that was kind of the most exciting thing that had happened there. I don't remember Durango being a really exciting, like, party school, except there were three kids that went to school there at that time that had lost their senses. And I think two of them had taken bad falls from drinking and had lost the sense of taste. I remember there's one guy would just be piling every kind of food in the commissary, and he didn't care. And one liked the crunch of M&Ms, so she'd eat M&Ms, but she couldn't taste anything. So it was kind of a weird, it was a little bit of a Twilighty Zone semester, and it was kind of Twilighty living situation with a roommate, but pretty uneventful. I don't remember that being good. I don't remember it being terrible. I just remember not ever wanting to do the dorm thing again. I thought it was weird. All of it was weird. And then on to CU Boulder. And when I got there, I knew a few people. I knew several people, actually. But everybody already had their living situation figured out. And I didn't know where I was going to live. And some friends of friends, they were these two guys. I think they were cousins, actually, or related. But they were from Hawaii, and they were on the football team. And they happened to tell some mutual friends of mine that they had this space under their closet. And they were kind of joking about being able to rent it out. This is long before Harry Potter. I said, a space under the stairs? I could live there. And they named a price, and it happened to be really low. You couldn't charge much. It wasn't even, you could only stand up like right when you walked into it. And then, of course, it was under the stairs. So the ceiling got really low. And I rented a little room under their stairs. And I thought that was great. But the problem was, again, we didn't have phones, so I had a digital clock. And one day I woke up and it said 1:30, and I panicked. I thought, oh my God, there are no windows. I've missed class. I've just missed my whole entire day. And I had a really important exam that day, and I thought, oh my God, I've missed it. Oh my God, I'm so screwed. I got up, I got dressed, I ran out the house. And it must have taken me about a block before I actually woke up and realized what was going on. And I looked around and I thought, oh my God, it's pitch black out. It's dark. It's the middle of the night. It's 1:30 in the morning. It's not 1:30 in the afternoon. You've missed nothing. And that just made me feel so weird and strange. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that another semester. So then after the Harry Potter phase, the next roommate phase of my life, I call the single white female. Because there had been a movie in the 90s that I had watched, Single White Female, and it was all about this gal who puts out a personal ad needing a roommate, and the roommate just becomes this crazy obsessed, wanting to be this gal and taking over her life kind of roommate. And I had wanted to experience the having a friend who we had similar interests, and we did things together, and we hung out, and we'd go snowboarding or whatever together. And I found who I thought was that person. And we got a place together with other roommates. And shortly after we moved in together, I thought, oh boy, this seems a lot like that movie that absolutely terrified me. And it was. That roommate would pick up on things that I would say. And there was a lot of trying to emulate mannerisms or different things that I would do, but there were things that really weirded me out. We'd be having a conversation, we'd go out and we'd hang out with other friends of ours, and I'd hear her saying the same sentence I had said just hours before. And we would stay in and out of touch. I think there's a little bit of fear factor for me. I think she always just kind of, there was some weird hold in that she made me almost nervous to not be friends with her. And there was a point where we had reconnected, and she actually ended up drugging me. We had gone out, we had been drinking, we'd been having, I thought, a pretty decent time. And I woke up and I was on the floor of it was 9:30 in the morning. I never sleep until 9:30 in the morning. I wake up and she's in bed with a guy. And I woke up thinking, why am I on the floor and why are you in my bed with some dude? And I said, did you drug me last night? And the answer was yes. She absolutely had given me, I believe it was an Ambien. And I was livid. And I just thought, okay, single white females no more. I will never, ever live with another person. So then on to what was the next poor lack of judgment, and that was the ex who I guess would be considered a roommate. But when I lived with him for all the years, that's when I just would acquire roommates. I had no idea they were moving in, but some derelict, some inbred friend, some long lost cousin or something would show up. And I think they were there for the weekend. And that's always how it was sold to me. Oh, this is so and so. They're going to be here for the weekend. Okay. Weeks, months later, I'm still waking up to that person on my couch. And so that was awful. That was terrible. I inherited so many degenerate idiots on my couch throughout the years I was with my kid's father that I could never live with anybody ever again. And don't let me forget the 3 years that I lived with Granny. There's a whole episode about that roommate experience. That was the Granny Nanny episode. So after reflecting on all of those experiences of living with people, I once again just find myself eternally grateful that my living situation is with the roommates I have now, aka my kids. Yeah, Sandler pees on the seat all the time. He very rarely remembers to put the seat down. It drives me absolutely nuts. Yeah, they can be loud. They can be very annoying. Very, very annoying. Of course they can. They can drive me absolutely nuts. They don't do the dishes. They're messy. They don't pay the bills. They're all kinds of things I could say they don't do, but they are hands down the easiest people to live with. We cohabitate very well together, and I love that that's my living situation. And when I've been driving around with my roommates, aka my children, I couldn't be more elated that I have survived the various roommate situations I've had. As I look at these kids on spring break, and I get so, again, the old self on the one shoulder just gets nervous and is so grateful that I'm not there. And then, of course, the young one, there's nothing about that I miss. I'd never want to do any of those years again. Never, ever, ever would I want to do those years again. But it just makes me grateful. I'm grateful I never have to relive those roommate moments again. I'm not only glad that my kids are my roommates, but I'm also eternally grateful that I'm their roommate. I'm glad when I see all these kids on spring break, I'm glad they have me as their roommate to sort of manage the house. And I'm glad my kids aren't going to be mixing every concoction, every alcoholic concoction, walking around half naked, not even half naked, practically naked with a gallon sized jug of every alcoholic beverage that you can imagine. And God, it's scary to me. Good luck to them and good luck to their parents. I hope that everybody has a good time. I hope everybody's safe. And with all of this roommate talk, I am, of course, going to bring on one of my favorite roommates, Mr. Sandler Chase, for the special edition. So today's special edition, I've got one of my favorite roommates here. I've got two roommates. They're both my favorite, depending on the day. Sometimes I like one better than the other. Sometimes I like them both the same, and sometimes I don't like either one of them. But I love them both. I love them both very much. And so today, Sandler's joining me. We are dressed in 90s attire. So if you can see us, if you're listening and watching on YouTube, you can see that we're in full 90s hip hop gear. I've got a Adidas tracksuit. Sandler is all dressed up in his 90s hip hop gear with his Playboy bucket hat. And we've just returned from our friend Lexi's Celebration of Life, which was a 90s hip hop theme. It was beautiful. It was amazing. They let doves go. Sandler, if you can't see him, he's currently doing the heart, her favorite sign to do. And it was a beautiful moment. And I got to experience that moment with my two favorite roommates and my only roommates, Sandler and Bootsy. So welcome, roommate. I am passing the mic to you. Mm-hmm. You've got the headphones on. I want you to tell me what you think it's like to have me as a roommate and tell me a little bit about your life as being my roommate.
I like being your roommate, so sometimes I like it, sometimes not, but in the most part, I love having being in my roommate. She's pretty awesome and she's good at skating.
What is it about being roommates with me that you enjoy?
Just, Can I tell you 5 things I like to be?
Sure. Tell me 5 things you like about being my roommate.
You're funny,
Okay.
you're nice, and you're good at everything, and you make me laugh every single day.
I'm good at everything?
Uh-huh.
Like cooking?
Yes, cooking, and you're good at skateboarding.
Sandler, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to have to interrupt you. You think I'm good at cooking?
I don't want to be mean about your cooking.
I won't be offended. I just
sure?
can't think of it. I promise.
Okay.
I just can't think of anything I cook well.
And you don't want to make you sad or like.
Oh, you won't make me sad. There are certain things that won't make me sad. Telling me I can't cook is not one of them.
Yeah, I don't want to be like.
I'm going to be, I can handle it. We're roommates, remember?
My mom and I are good chef.
Okay, and that's fair.
Yeah, but she's good at skateboarding and she's good at pickleball.
What is it your roommates do that bother you that you kind of wish you didn't have to deal with?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, are there things that we do that annoy you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with Bootsy. What does she do that annoys you as a roommate?
Like pinch me.
Okay, so you'd prefer if your roommate didn't pinch you. Okay.
And just.
What about your mom? Me.
Um.
Do I do anything that annoys you?
No, you actually pretty good in this family. You turned out good.
I turned out good.
Yeah.
Okay. And the only negative you can think of as far as your roommates go is you get pinched by your sister.
Yes.
All right. That's pretty good. What do you like about living with us as roommates?
Pretty much the most part about living with my roommate is she always plays with me at the pool.
Oh, yeah. You guys play pool together?
Uh-huh. And then I like my mommy to be my roommate. We always have fun. We go to the skate park.
We get along pretty well, huh?
Of course we do.
Of course we do.
When I get older, like in the future,
In the future.
I might want to move out
Yeah?
with a girlfriend.
Ah, wow. You want to move out with a girlfriend.
Yes.
So that would mean a girlfriend would be your roommate.
Yes. But like happy.
She'd need, sure.
Happy, cute, and fun.
Okay. Would you enjoy that roommate / girlfriend if she told you what to do?
No. Okay, first. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. You're good.
I just want a girlfriend to be happy, nice, beautiful, and cute, and don't tell me what to do. Like my friend.
But you can't mention names.
Just my friend.
Right. And you don't know what if he gets bossed around. You don't want to be bossed around.
No, I just want to be
Be roommates. But
yeah.
that's way in the future, right?
Like,
So back to present and your living situation with your roommates being me, myself, and then Bootsy and Kevin, the dog. Let me ask you this. Do you think being our roommate, do you think you're the perfect roommate? Do you do anything wrong that might be kind of seen as irritating, annoying,
no.
frustrating? No. Do you always put the seat down?
Seat down.
In the bathroom?
Why should you need I should be a parent seat?
Well, I think it happens with some guys.
Yes.
You could forget that once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes I forgot to put the seat up or down.
Down. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Same thing.
Okay, my next question. Do you do the dishes?
No, but one day I will.
Okay, one day.
Not good or no?
Yeah, that's great.
One
like,
day,
as long as it's one day soon, maybe?
No, one day. Seriously, one day when you are not looking, I would maybe do the dishes or on your birthday.
Oh, that would be a great birthday surprise from a roommate. All right, well, I like being your roommate, so I'll keep you around for a roommate. Do you want to continue being my roommate?
I'd love to.
All right. Well, I love you.
Well, I love you too. My mommy did tell me she put the cupcake in my face.
Oh, I did on St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah.
didn't I? I gave him a St. Patrick's Day smash of the cupcake.
Me too.
Okay. Now, Sandler, next week's episode, if you'd like to introduce it, it's all about my passion.
Those you who watching my mommy podcast
Or listening.
or listening on my mom's podcast, next week it's gonna be all about mommy passion.
Yep, you're exactly right.
And
And how can they listen?
can I say all of them?
Sure.
Spotify, YouTube, adult chicken,
Apple.
Apple tea, Apple.
So Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
YouTube,
Yep, all 3 you can find me at Adult Chicken.
adultchicken.com.
Then there's adultchicken.com, correct? There's Instagram,
Instagram.
adult_chicken.
Please subscribe my roommate podcast. And thank you for watching. You have a good day. See you on the next episode.
Let's do some shameless promoting. Would you like to?
Of course, you do that.
Okay, so let's tell people that they can subscribe,
You guys can subscribe,
like, share,
and send it, and go all to your friends or your family or your cousin.
Oh, yeah. Tell your cousins, your friends, your families. Tell everybody to like, follow, share, and subscribe.
And if someone in the hospital, and tell your family, your cousin, your aunt, your aunt, and all of your family to like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you for listening to my mommy podcast. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing.
And don't forget, you can donate
You can donate
at adultchicken.com.
adultchicken.com.
If you donate over $100, you will get a trucker hat with Adult
You
Chicken.
get a trucky hat on your adult chicken.
But any amount helps. It will help with time and life, but it'll help with the time spent on the podcast as well as the production expenses. So please like, follow, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe, please follow, please share. You can find me at adultchicken.com.
YouTube, Spotify, Adult, and Apple Podcasts.
At Adult Chicken, as well as Instagram. We got to get those numbers up, Sandler. They're pretty pathetic.
Like it up, please.
Hike it up.
That will make my mommy life so much easier and so happy.